Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest here in the new year. Happy New Year everyone. Welcome to 2021. I hope everybody is looking forward to a productive, positive, and happy new year, next 12 months. Welcome, honey. This is a members chat class. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. In order to become a member of our channel, just click the join button next to the subscribe button. If you do not see that button in your YouTube account, just send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I can help you further with that. Coming up in 90 minutes, I will also host a reading class where everybody will be able to join the chat. Hi, Jainil. This class, as usual, is presented to you by aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. For success with the academic version of the IELTS exam, visit us there, join our premium package. And for the general IELTS, check us out at IELTShelp.com. That's general-IELTShelp.com. On both of our websites, we have videos, practice exams, interactive courses, applications for your mobile to help you improve. We are world leaders in IELTS preparation. Hi, Nikhil. Hi, Abhishek. This is our academic website here with the blue background. You can click that big red button to join us there. Students in Saudi Arabia can register through our websites. We are an official British Council IELTS registration center, and we have certified British Council agents in our company. This is our general IELTS website here with the green background at gieltshelp.com. Again, you can click that big red button to join us there. Welcome, Rashika. In today's live class, we are looking at Task 2 Writing. We're going to discuss how to start for a Band 9 essay, and today's essay question was submitted to us by one of our students. You can get our books from Amazon as well in hard copy, our practice exams. Just search for A Helps Academic IELTS or G Helps General IELTS. The schedule for today is Task 2 right now, and then followed by reading, and we'll have class tomorrow as well. This is a little bit unusual. It's for the holiday season, so we'll do the Task 2, finishing that up tomorrow, and we'll do a speaking part 3 with everyone. Thank you, honey, for the Happy New Year wishes. Okay, and then 4th and 5th, no classes. That's kind of usual. And then on Wednesday the 6th, we're back to our regular schedule with the class starting at 3 o'clock Central European Standard Time, speaking part 1, and then we're going to have our regular Wednesday to Saturday live class streaming schedule. Hi, Roshni. Okay, so here is a simple and elegant Task 2 question that one of our students sent us. They said, how do I answer this one? I haven't really seen this kind of question before. What do I do? Okay. It's a good question. I'll explain why in a second. So first, let's look at this. Okay. This very first step, of course, with Task 2 is just read the question really carefully. So IELTS Task 2 Writing, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Make sure you use your 40 minutes for Task 2. It's worth 2/3 of your writing mark. Many people spend a large amount of money on celebrating birthdays and weddings. Discuss the views and opinions of this trend. Okay, so that's the question. That's it. Write at least 250 words. All right, fine. Now, a lot of students practice IELTS Task 2 essays for different kinds, like advantages, disadvantages, give your own opinion, which side do you believe, which one do you choose, and there's quite a few different kinds, right? Now, the stressful situation, I think, for some students is when they study advantages, disadvantages, and all these other kind of typical kinds of Task 2 essays, they go to their IELTS exam and then suddenly they don't see that. So they don't see advantages, disadvantages, but they see something like this. Discuss the views and opinions of this trend. And now they're panicking because they're like, well, I never saw this kind of a question before. How do I write about this? What should I include, right? So instead of just learning to write a standard template kind of response like the merits and demerits of this, and this essay will discuss the merits and demerits, you have to understand how to evaluate a question and then to answer it accurately. And that's what we're going to look at today, okay? So first of all, I know we have some new members as well here. So here are a couple of important questions that every student who's preparing for the IELTS, and especially students who are going to study in universities in UK, US, should know, are different types of essays. So what are the 4 standard types of essays in English literature? You should know this. You might learn a little bit about this in your first year university English class, but most students in Canada or US or UK, Australia will learn about this in their grade 10, 11, and 12 classes, and it's expected that you know this by college, university. So we're going to do a little back and forth here, members. So first of all, what are the 4 standard types of essays in English literature, and all the different essays that you write on IELTS and in university fall under one of these? Abhishek, there's no opinion in cause and effect. Okay, Jainil says narrative. Yep, that's one, Jainil. Good. Narrative. Yeah, you got 2 of them, Jainil. It's good. Expository. Good. And let's see, Nick Hill. Very nice, Nick Hill. Nick Hill says descriptive. And the 4th one is persuasive. That's right. Very good, Nick Hill. Good job, Jainil. Good job, Roshni. So these are the 4 standard types of essays in English literature. I'm not making this up. This isn't your IELTS teacher or this guy or that tutor telling you. This is the way it is according to English classes, okay? So narrative, expository, descriptive, persuasive. Okay, so my next question for you then is, which of these 4 is IELTS Task 2? So which of these 4 is IELTS Task 2? Okay, and I think, Roshni, you're maybe giving the answer for that. Let's see if anybody else is thinking the same. So IELTS Task 2 falls under which of these types of essays? It's not a narrative descriptive, honey. A narrative, honey, is storytelling. That's general IELTS Task 1, okay? So it's not that one, all right? It's a persuasive essay. Okay, Task 2 is a persuasive essay. You are persuading your reader, okay? You are persuading, meaning convincing your reader of an idea. Okay? If this is new for you, that's totally fine, but it means that you have to research this on your own to find out more. So if this is new information, make sure to research and Google persuasive writing in English. Okay? So that's what you should be searching for, and then you'll learn about the correct methods to respond to Task 2. Now, of course, I'm going to teach you a lot of that as well. So this is half of the story. Okay, so for Task 2, you're writing a persuasive essay. All right, now, an author in English and in other languages can use a number of different voices. What are the voices of the author that you can use in writing? So what voices can an author use in writing? Okay? So this is the other half of this equation, and you're going to see my logic here on how to really get into band 9 writing. Okay, so yeah, Abhishek, make sure to add person when you're discussing this. Okay, Roshni says first person, third person, yeah. So it's quite simple here, the naming. It's first person, second person, and third person. Okay? Voice of the author. Again, if this is new for you, you have to research it and learn more. Okay? So let me explain this to you in a little bit more detail. So first person voice is the subjective personal view of the author using I, me, my, myself. Okay? And second person is the instructive voice of the author. Okay? Meaning the author speaks directly to the reader. Okay? You, yourself. We and us kind of fall into this category as well. And the third person voice of the author is the objective voice of the author, which gives a general truth and avoids using I and you. Okay? So that's the difference. Now, here's my next question. IELTS Task 2, which voice do you use? Okay? In IELTS Task 2 questions, which voice do you use to write your essay? Oh, by the way, very importantly, you should never mix voices. That is a golden rule in writing, okay? So, golden rule. You should never mix the voices of the author, as this is very confusing and considered bad writing. If you do this, you will lose band scores. Okay, for coherence and for all other kinds of marking criteria. So you never want to mix your voices. So which voice is task 2? So Roshni says first and third. Janil says first, third. Nikhil says first and third. All right, Roshni, Janil, Nikhil, not bad. Hi, Sammy. A better way to answer this is either first or third. You're right. Okay, that was a tricky question. No, it's not and, so be careful with your use of and. Okay, here the or, because like I say, you never mix them, right? So either first or third person voice. How do you know which one? Okay, so how do you know which one to use? How do you know, should I choose first person or should I choose third person voice? Which one? How do I know? It's a very important decision, by the way. So how would I decide that? What gives me that decision, or what gives me a hint to decide which voice to use? And it makes a big, big difference, certainly in the essay, okay? So Carolina says, usually third person. Yeah, it depends on the question, Carolina, absolutely, okay? So Abhishek says the word you in the essay question. Yeah, is it asking for your opinion, your experiences, or just generally asking? Yeah, so you decide based on the wording of the question. Okay, so if we go back here, nice to see many members in the class, by the way. Happy New Year again to all of you, for those who didn't hear me say it earlier. Here we go. So in this question, many people spend a large amount of money on celebrating birthdays and weddings. Discuss the views and opinions of this trend. First person or third person in this specific question? Which one should I pick here? Okay, so if I'm looking at this carefully and critically, I will realize that I need to use third person, right? This question is not asking me for my personal experience or my personal view. So I would use the third person, not both, Abhishek. Don't mix voices, okay? So this is third person. You don't see the word you anywhere here, and you don't see the essay question asking for any kind of personal opinion. So this is clearly, okay, so based on the question, this is clearly a third person voice persuasive essay, okay? So to get a band 9 or to produce good writing, you have to really first carefully analyze the question, okay? I'm glad that Carolina and Amrita got this, okay? It's fantastic. So absolutely, that's how we do it, all right? So now we have these ideas, and again, for those of you who are not familiar with the 4 standard types of essays or writing formats in literature, narrative, expository, descriptive, persuasive, research those, review those. It's valuable information for your entire life, not just for the IELTS. And again, for those of you who aren't clear about the different voices of an author in writing, definitely research first, third, second, third person voice. There's subcategories in these as well. And get a general idea of this, because you will understand literature and writing to a much more specific degree and to a much better communicative degree than if you do not understand the meanings of these, okay? So all writing is a combination of writing styles and author voices. Okay, that's really important. Everybody's clear on what I just said there? Can I get a couple thumbs up, members? Okay, all writing that you read, whatever it is, it's a journal, it's a book, it's a newspaper article, it's a combination of these 4 writing styles with an author's voice. And professional journalists and authors are experts at controlling these combinations. Okay, that's the trick to being a good communicator in writing. One of them is to control these combinations, okay? So take note of that, all right? So all writing is some combination of the 4 writing or basic writing styles and author voices. Okay? So keep that in mind, all right? Okay, so let's get into this question a little bit more specifically now. So I always recommend students to paraphrase the question first to make sure that you understand it, okay? And gather some vocabulary, and then we can look at it a little bit more critically. We can ask some questions, we can find direction. So go ahead, everyone, and paraphrase this question, meaning use your own words, use your own style to express this same question, okay? Don't lose any information. Don't add any information. Make it your own, all right? Okay? All right, Sammy says super clear. Okay. All right, so here we go. I'm going to paraphrase, you do the same, and then we'll compare, okay? All right. So Abhishek says a lot of individuals use a hefty amount of cash on rejoicing birthdays and marriages. Discuss the opinions and thoughts of this movement. Not bad, Abhishek. It's a little bit unusual use of the word movement or hefty. It's a bit colloquial. It's understandable. It's your own style, so I appreciate it. The goal here is to paraphrase. So it's good. It's not formal, though, Abhishek. You have to understand it's not a formal paraphrase, okay? So here is my paraphrase of this. A lot of individuals pay thousands of dollars to commemorate birthdays and marriages. Explain the perspectives of this custom, okay? Or regarding this custom. All right, Roshni says most individuals spend massive amounts of money on birthdays and weddings. Discuss the opinions. Roshni, opinions with an S. It's multiple opinions, right? Different people will have different opinions. Okay, good. All right. So, anybody else? Okay, so let's identify the topic now. All right. Here we go. The topic question here is, what are we discussing? So while I read a couple more of these paraphrases, let me know what we are discussing in this essay, okay? It's really, really, really important to know what you're discussing before you begin writing. Otherwise, you can really lose your band scores before you even get going, okay? All right. Sammy says many citizens use a large amount of cash on parties like birthdays and marriages. Argue both thoughts and decisions at present times. Okay, Sammy, the last part of it's a little bit awkward for me, but you're on the right track, okay? Nikhil says most individuals pay enormous amounts of cash. Cash is a bit colloquial, students. Keep that in mind, okay? Money, finances, okay, dollars, those are more formal. Cash is a bit colloquial. Most individuals pay an enormous amount of money on birthdays and weddings. State the views and opinions around this. Okay. Janelle says many individuals spend a slew of capital on birthday parties and marriages. Okay. All right. Okay. So what's the topic? What are we talking about? What are we discussing? Abhishek says, money spent on celebrating. I think you have the right idea, Abhishek, but I don't think it's specific enough. The question here is being very specific with the type of celebrations, okay? So you have to retain that. You can't just generalize celebrations or parties, right? It has to be more specific. Sammy says, celebrating events. Yeah. It's okay. I still don't think it's specific enough. Okay, Honey, that's better. So Honey says expenditure on birthdays and marriages. Carolina says spending money on birthdays and marriages. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And Sammy says expensive celebrations. If we take what you're saying, Sammy, and we put it together with Carolina and Honey, then that's what we're really talking about, right? Is we're really talking about expensive weddings and birthdays, okay? So again, remember, we're being concise, so we're being brief in our topic or identifying the topic, and we're being very clear, okay? So concise and accurate. Concise and accurate. So expensive weddings and birthdays, that's what we're talking about. Do you agree? After you read the original question, always think about the original question. So many people spend a large amount of money on celebrating birthdays and weddings. Do you agree that in this question, we're talking about expensive birthday and wedding celebrations? Okay, so that's really what we're talking about. Not just spending money, but expensive, clearly expensive, okay? And the controlling idea is the views and opinions around this, right? So Okay, so that's the controlling idea. Now let's brainstorm real quick. So again, this is what you want to do always. All right. So first question, what is it? What's the first question that I should be asking myself here to really think about this question accurately and to start creating the content, the information, which will allow me to write a high band essay? Remember, students, that from about band 6.57 to band 9 in the IELTS, it becomes much more about content than just simple English usage of grammar vocabulary. Okay? Yeah, Lubna, very good. So Lubna says, keep it simple, girls and guys. Let's ask the simple question. What do we mean by expensive birthdays and marriages? Sure. Okay. And I think that's a very fair question because that's a difficult concept to establish. So what is an expensive wedding or birthday? Okay. Very good, Lubna. That's absolutely what I would ask myself first. What is an expensive wedding and birthday? All right. And what's the answer to that? So in your mind, what is an expensive birthday or wedding? So how would you explain that? Imagine that I come from a culture where we don't celebrate birthdays and weddings, and we're having a discussion, and you're an expert on this, and I go up to you and I say, hey, Lubna, what do you mean an expensive wedding? What does that actually mean? What is an expensive wedding, or what is an expensive birthday? What does that mean? So Sammy says spending more than required. Yeah, but that's still unclear, Sammy. So when you ask this kind of a question, okay, this is where you should be thinking clear, qualitative and quantitative response. Okay, so you want to be clear here. You're thinking about your audience. They need to understand this. So if you tell your audience spending more than required, Sammy, that's not really going to make it clear for them. Okay? So Abhishek says spending thousands of dollars on the ceremony as well as the destination. Okay, perhaps. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Lubna says spending outrageously on these occasions, that is more than $5,000 maybe. Honey says extravagantly spending. So notice, members, how if we're reading your answers, you seem to have a wide range of different answers, okay? So your essays are looking very different at this point in time, right? On how you're going to describe this. So be really careful here, okay? Roshni says people spend a lot of hard-earned money on decorations, food, authentic. Okay, Roshni, I like where you're going with the hard money. What are you talking about with that? Okay, Jaineel, Carolina, I'd love to see what your take is on this as well before I give my own. Okay. So my answer, if I'm thinking critically about this, is spending, I'm going to be a little bit quiet because maybe some of you will come up with this, okay? All right. So that's how I would quantify and qualify this, okay? Yeah, so very good. Okay, so Roshni says hard-earned money, putting all of their savings and maybe even going into debt to spend thousands of dollars on these celebrations. Yes, very good. Okay, so that's kind of similar to what I said, Roshni. So spending thousands of dollars on this celebration, which requires a significant time to save, months or even years of savings paid for that event, right? For that special 16th or 18th birthday or that wedding. Absolutely, Okay, so this is what I think the question is referring to with spending a lot of money for this event. Okay, if you're a millionaire and you spend $10,000 on a wedding, it might seem a little bit expensive, but it's not a big deal if you're a millionaire, right? So it's relative here as well. Okay, does everybody see that? So does everybody see where Roshni and I have this idea that we're not just talking about an absolute amount of money, like say $50,000, but we're also talking about a relative amount of money compared to how much a person earns in their lifetime or their monthly salary. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so now let's ask the question, okay, so discuss the views and opinions of this trend. So this type of question, what do you think the views and the opinions of this trend are going to be? Okay. So what is the view and the opinion of this trend? That's the next question that I would ask. So what are the most simple views or perspectives in regards to this trend of, let's say, overspending? Okay. And of course, simplest. So what are the simplest perspectives? Okay. Yeah, Sammy, you could get into that, like spending more than one can afford, right? Okay. So Lubna says one view is that it's justified and the other is that it's unreasonable. So Lubna, it's justified and it's unreasonable. Yeah, and even in a simpler way, Lubna, is it's good and bad, right? It's good practice versus bad practice, right? So that's kind of the simplest way, but I like your use of vocabulary, Lubna. So Lubna says it's justified or unreasonable. Okay. All right, good. Okay, good. I love how some of you members have really come a long ways in the developing your thoughts and ideas, okay? Here you have to discuss both, okay? So you have to discuss the fact that it's good practice or that it's justified and that it's bad practice and it's unreasonable, okay? All right, so before we get there, we need a couple more questions. What's the next question I should ask? So again, remember, good essays are written by people who ask good questions, not usually by people who try to answer well, but who ask good questions, because good answers come from good questions. Okay? So what's a good question here? What's my next question that I need to ask in my planning stage here? Okay, let me help you along here. Hopefully you're coming up with the same idea. We're going to start rolling with this a little bit more now. So why is it a good idea to spend a lot of money on such celebrations? Okay, so what would you say? Why is it a good idea? So why would I want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars of hard-earned money that I've been saving for months and months, maybe years and years, on a wedding or on a birthday? Why would I want to do that? What's my logic here? Okay. That would be my question. So why do people have these expensive weddings, right, Chrysolite? So why would they do it? What's the logic other than just having fun? Okay. So Abhishek says to show social status. Okay. All right. Carolina says to commemorate a once in a lifetime event. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's a one-time celebration. For reputation is still social status. So social status, commemorating a once-in-a-lifetime event. Any other reason? Let's see if somebody, so think really critically. There are more. Okay. So far, social status I see is a common answer. There are other concepts. Think psychology, think sociology in these kinds of situations. Not just the first that comes to mind, but try to think outside the box, right? To make it memorable, yeah, it's commemorate. So memorate, memorable, to commemorate a once-in-a-lifetime event. To make it memorable. To experience luxury. Yeah, okay. So Honey says to experience luxury. Okay. How about this one, students? Visualize it. Be visual. To create extreme happiness. Yeah, there you go, Lubna. You got it. To make someone happy. To create extreme happiness and motivation, right? When you spend a lot of money to celebrate a wedding or a birthday, you encourage usually the people that are being celebrated to live their life to the fullest, to reach great achievements in life, to build a family when you're talking about a wedding as well, right? So to create extreme happiness and motivation, to strengthen family and social bonds, right? So when we have these celebrations like big weddings or big birthdays, we usually gather together our family members, colleagues, coworkers, and we build social bonds, social connections amongst each other, right? Amrita is saying this and Carolina is saying this to bring together family and friends, right? So we build strength because humans are social creatures, right? Okay, very good. So those are the reasons, all right? And the author who thinks about all of these and then uses these in their task too will do much better than those that don't or those that only think about social status. Okay, social status is okay, commemorating the event is okay, but definitely creating motivation or encouragement for individuals and strengthening family and social bonds, those are going to be some top level answers as well. Okay, so now, obviously the next question is, why is it a bad idea to spend a lot of money on such events? Okay, so give me some answers for this one. Surely there are some. This would be the counter argument. So why is it a bad idea? So why should I not spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a wedding or a birthday that I've been saving as a parent for months and months or maybe even years and years? What's the negative? What's the drawback? So it can create debt. Okay, sure. Which leads to stress, right? Sure. Welcome aboard, Bless Justin. Send me an email so I can hook you up with those videos and exams as well. Okay. Bankruptcy, wasting time and money. Try to be a little bit more specific, Nick Hill. So what do you mean it's a waste of time and money? Maybe not time, but certainly money. I get it. So why is it a waste of money? Okay, so Sammy says that money can be helped for other projects. Like what? Okay, so the money can be better used for other purposes like what? So not necessarily helping the poor, but what? So if I'm not paying so much money for the wedding. What else can I invest my money into? Okay. So Roshni says improving further quality of life. Let's be even more specific, right? Purposes like okay, again, I don't know. What would you rather have? Me spend $300,000 on your wedding for one day, or buy you a Starbucks franchise for $300,000 so that you never have to work another day in your life? You just have to make sure that everybody's doing their job at your Starbucks, and you're getting $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month into your bank account. Okay. So Nick Hill says money can be better invested. Yeah. So. All right. Same idea, Nick Hill, but there we go. Another way to say it. Yeah, absolutely. So Carolina says, too much money for just one celebration, relatively speaking. Okay, we have our information now for the thesis. Now, how do I decide which point to put into my thesis first? So should I put this point first into my thesis, that it's good to spend so much money because of the social bonds and encouragement? Should I put that into my thesis point first? Or should I put my thesis point first that it's a waste of money because that same money could be invested better elsewhere, which creates lifelong happiness? So how do I decide which point to mention first and which point to mention second in my introductory thesis statement? Okay. So Sammy, I get what you're saying, but stay on track, okay? Stay focused. Okay, don't bring COVID and the lockdown into this. I get what you're saying, but stay focused, all right? So how do I decide? Okay, the question is, how do I decide which point to mention first and which to mention second? Okay, there is logic to this. All right, Tanya, welcome to our group of members. Yeah, so Nick Hill says with whatever one we disagree first and with whichever one we agree with the second. Very good, Nick Hill. Yeah, so mention the point that you disagree with or support less first, and the view which you support more second. Okay, that's the logic. Why? Because as an author, okay, you want to leave your reader with the side that you support. Okay, so you want them to leave with that idea in their mind, being the freshest in their mind. Okay, so write some thesis statements for me now, everyone. Again, Tanya, welcome. Tanya, send me an email so I can hook you up with those exclusive videos, okay? So everyone, write me a thesis statement now. So clear, direct thesis statement, okay? I'm going to do the same, and then we will compare, all right? So I'm going to put this at the very end here now, getting ready to compose our introductory paragraph, okay? Okay. All right. So that is my thesis statement. Let's see what you've come up with. Okay. And then we'll compare a little bit, and you get my point of view here for sure. Okay, and again, you could go either way, but it's very important that you decide which way you want to go so that you have the right structure for your essay. Okay. So while you're writing yours, I'm going to read mine, okay, and try to be original, of course. So here's what I wrote. Some individuals believe that spending much money on wedding and birthday celebrations is wasteful because it could be invested better elsewhere, but others support this practice as commemorating such important events, strengthen family bonds, and encourage people Let me have some parallel grammar here. There we go. Strengthen family bonds and encourage people's achievements. There we go. Now I have some nice parallel grammar to both of my points, and I'm on my way to writing a Band 9 essay. Okay. Still waiting for your thesis statements. I'd like to definitely see a couple of those. Okay. Sammy says, individuals spend a lot of money on parties for improving their relationships and social status. On the other hand, certain people face challenges in the future by having expensive celebrations. Okay, Sammy, so interesting. You're deciding to go the other direction. So you're more in support of not spending so much money. That's what I get from your thesis. Lubna says, although expensive celebrations can strengthen social bonds, I believe that these parties are a negative for society since it leads to debt and crisis. Okay, Lubna, not bad. Okay, your thesis is clear, but this is a third person voice. Okay, so no I here. Okay, so you can say the same information, Lubna, but don't use the first person voice. Keep it third person general voice. Okay. Objective voice. Abhishek says, many individuals ascertain that spending a lot of money on celebrations or celebrating birthdays and marriages shows social status and strengthens family bonds. However, this practice creates debt, which leads to health issues as well as poor investment. Okay, Abhishek, careful with that last piece to make it clear, okay? As well as invest money elsewhere for the bright future is confusing. So either write that as a different sentence or change it. Okay. All right. Okay, everyone. Again, here is my thesis. So one more time, I'm actually going with the opposite direction of what you're writing. I say some individuals believe that spending much money on wedding and birthday celebrations is wasteful because it could be invested better elsewhere, but others support this practice as commemorating such important events, strengthen families' bonds, and encourage people's achievement. And let me make one more correction here now that I read it one more time. Let's make this plural, families' bonds, and encourage people's achievements. Okay, so now we're ready to complete our introduction with a hook, a background, and then adding this thesis. Okay, for those of you that have practiced the introduction, this is your homework to write the hook in the background, add your thesis, and then we'll complete this essay tomorrow. Okay, so I will also finish the introduction after class, and then we'll have it ready for tomorrow, and we'll continue from the introductory paragraph tomorrow. We'll write the body paragraphs, and then we'll write the conclusion for a nice complete essay that's a Band 9 response to this question, okay? So again, a couple of important notes from this class just to recapitulate. The key to writing a good essay is interpreting the question clearly, understanding the writing style and the author voice that's required, identifying the topic concisely and accurately, and then asking good questions about those. Okay, that's the key. That's what you want to practice. Okay, you're very, very welcome, Roshni. Thank you so much, members, for your participation, for your energy. Coming up in 30 minutes, I will host another class which will be a reading passage that we will do together as a class. We'll talk some strategy, we'll answer some questions, we'll do some reading. So make sure to join me for that. For lots more HD videos, practice exams, as well as an interactive course with strategies for high bands, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Definitely worth your time and your investment to go there. And hopefully, again, I'll see you shortly in half an hour for some reading. I'm Adrian, signing out from Budapest for now. First live class of 2021. Thank you for being a part of it. Bye for now. See you soon.